Elderberries are glossy, tart, deep purple fruits from the sambucus tree. Among many varieties, the most common one is the European elder, or the black elderberry, Sambucus nigra. Native to Europe, the black elderberry today grows across America, Asia, and North Africa. The tree is up to 30 foot tall, with brownish-grey bark and a fragrant white flower. The fruit is small, dark-coloured berries, sometimes appearing almost black. Some of the benefits of elderberry are it helps to fight cold and flu. It kills viruses and bacteria. It's got great nutritional value. It relieves gum inflammation, and it may protect the skin and the heart. All the parts of black elderberry are used in folk medicine. The flowers and the leaves are natural remedies for relieving pain, swelling, and inflammation. Preparations from the bark are taken to stimulate urination and bowel movements. Fresh and dried berries are thought to relieve headaches, toothache, lower back pain, respiratory infections, as well as constipation. The flavonoids discovered in the flowers and the fruit of elderberry trees have antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant properties. People use it to combat flu, respiratory infections, and more. The Sambucus nigra has become popular in the food industry. The berries are often used to make a refreshing, sweet tart juice, jams, jellies, pies, punches, and wine. Elder flowers are boiled to prepare a soothing, creamy tea or a syrup, or they're added to batter when baking. Elderberry supplements like syrups, lozenges, capsules, tea, and powder are typically made from the European black elderberry. All elderberries are rich in anthocyanins, which are powerful antioxidants responsible for the red, blue, and purple berry color. Both the European and the American elderberry are full of antioxidants. The European variety is higher in specific ones, the phenolics and the flavonoids. Anthocyanins deepen the color of plants, which explains the great potency of black elderberry, especially when compared to the red variety. Red and blue elderberry, native to the North American continent, may offer distinct health benefits. The native people would collect these berries in the summer and store them in a safe place for medicinal use during the winter months. Black elderberry is rich in bioactive components, the most important one being flavonoids like rutin, quercetin, and anthocyanins, which have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antiviral properties. It also contains provitamin A, carotenoids, and vitamin C. Elderberries are low-calorie fruits, high in nutrients and antioxidants. Their precise nutritional content depends on the ripeness of fruit, the environmental conditions, and the plant variety. 100 grams of fresh elderberries contains only 73 calories, and it will provide 28% of your daily fiber requirements. The fruits are rich in vitamins, such as vitamin C and provitamin A, and minerals like iron, potassium, and phosphorus. The leaves, berries, and flowers are high in antioxidants like flavonoids, phenolics, and anthocyanins, and these lower oxidative stress and they balance the immune system. Elderberries have the highest amount of flavonoids compared to 28 different species of berry. Sambucol is a popular, widely available brand of standardized elderberry extract. In clinical studies with over 80 people with influenza A or B, taking Sambucol syrup for 5 days relieved flu symptoms 4 days faster than the placebo. Elderberry lozenges 4 times per day reduced fever, headache, muscle pain, and nasal congestion within 48 hours in a clinical study on 64 people with the flu. Elderberry syrup also decreased the duration of flu-like symptoms in chimpanzees. Flavonoids in elderberry may prevent infection from the influenza A and B virus, which are responsible for the yearly seasonal flu epidemics. In test tubes, elderberry could bind to both viruses and prevent them from entering cells and multiplying. Symptoms of the flu and the common cold often overlap, but colds are caused by different types of viruses and are usually milder. Frequent travellers are under stress. Long flights and layovers put a strain on the immune system and the respiratory system. In one clinical study of 312 people travelling overseas from Australia, elderberry extract reduced the severity and the duration of common cold symptoms when compared to the placebo. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are common ingredients in cold and flu products like Advil. They reduce symptoms like swelling, pain, and stiffness. A combination of elderberry and other herbs, being gentian root, cowslip flowers, sorrel, and vervain, might work in a similar way. It was shown to lower inflammatory enzyme COX-2 and messengers in rats. In a clinical study with over 2,300 people with a bacterial sinus infection, a combination of elderberry with the other herbs reduced inflammation, headaches, and nasal discharge. In test tubes, elderberry extract blocked the growth of bacteria that causes malaria and a myriad of other health problems. It was also active against the herpes virus, which causes cold sores. In several clinical studies with more than 200 people, a herbal mouth rinse containing elderberry and echinacea decreased gum inflammation or gingivitis, bleeding, and plaque size. In a clinical study of 20 people with constipation, a tea containing elderberry, anise, fennel, and Alexandrian senna increased the number of evacuations per day and improved bowel movements. It's unclear to what extent the elderberry helped, since senna is a well-known laxative. Flower and berry extracts, together with asparagus, reduce body weight and improve blood pressure and quality of life in a clinical study on 80 people. In another study on 34 people, elderberry juice for 2 weeks slightly decreased cholesterol levels by 9 milligrams per deciliter and oxidative stress when compared to the placebo. In animals, elderberry extracts lowered blood pressure, liver cholesterol, blood triglycerides, and fat buildup, all of which increase the risk of heart disease. They also increased glutathione, one of the most important antioxidant enzymes in the body. However, elderberry extract had no effect on inflammatory biomarkers, blood fat, or sugar levels in a clinical study on 52 healthy postmenopausal women that were given it over 12 weeks. Elderberry may protect the heart by reducing blood pressure and cholesterol, but the evidence is inconclusive. Elderberry is rich in flavonoids, phenolics, vitamin C, and provitamin A, which decrease oxidative stress, prevent skin damage, improve skin elasticity, and lessen wrinkles. A formula containing elderberry, common hawthorn, and dwarf everlast extract had a sun protection factor of almost 10, meaning that these herbs can naturally protect from UV rays. Elderberry extract acts as an immune modulator. It can calm an overactive immune system or activate an overly suppressed one. In studies on human cells, elderberry syrup increased the production of inflammatory cytokines needed to activate immune cells. Elderberry syrup also increased the anti-inflammatory cytokine interleukin-10, which might help to restrict the immune response and to prevent it from getting out of hand. Elderberry extracts stimulated the production of white blood cells, T helper cells, and macrophages, which increase overall immune defense. Elderberry and elderflower extracts may balance an overactive immune system by blocking nitric oxide production in the cells. Overproduction of nitric oxide has been linked to inflammatory autoimmune diseases. Elderberry may balance the immune system, but clinical studies are still lacking to draw any conclusions on this. Elderberry extracts prevented insulin spikes and insulin resistance in mice that were fed a high-fat diet. Based on test tube experiments, it might work by promoting insulin production, transferring sugar from blood into cells and tissues. breaking down sugar in the cells, and blocking the enzymes alpha-glucosidase and alpha-amylase that digest carbohydrates, which helps to lower the blood sugar spikes after meals. According to limited animal studies, elderberry may help to improve irritable bowel disease symptoms, reduce ulcer-causing Helicobacter pylori infections, and boost mood and fight depression. When used in adequate amounts, elderberry tea, extracts, and other products are generally safe and well tolerated. However, there's important safety precautions to consider when it comes to using the herb. The bark, leaves, root, as well as ripe and unripe berries contain a toxic compound which can lead to cyanide poisoning. Consumption of raw elderberry products may cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and even lead to hospitalization. In 1984, 8 people became sick after drinking juice from fresh berries, leaves, and branches of the Sambucus mexicana tree. They suffered from nausea, vomiting, weakness, dizziness, stomach pain, numbness, and impaired consciousness. The levels of the toxic compounds in raw berries are not extremely high, but they can still cause serious health problems. Cooked berries and standardized extracts are safe to consume though. Fresh elderberries contain lectins, which may also cause a reaction in sensitive people, and cooking the berries reduces their lectin content. Some people are allergic to elderberry, and they'll experience typical symptoms like a runny nose, an itch, red eyes, or difficulty breathing. However, elderberry allergies affect only 0.6% of the general population, according to a study on over 3,500 randomly tested people. Pregnant and breastfeeding women should avoid elderberry supplements due to the lack of safety data. Based on the possible benefits, elderberry, in theory, may interact with the following drugs: laxatives, diabetic medication, blood pressure lowering drugs, and immunosuppressants. To make your own syrup, all you need is 3½ cups of water, 2/3 of a cup of dried elderberries, or 1 1/3 cups of fresh or frozen elderberries, and 1 cup of raw honey or brown rice syrup. Boil this mixture and then strain. For flu or a cold, 15 milliliters of elderberry syrup taken 4 times a day for 5 days is recommended. Alternatively, taking 175 milligrams of an elderberry lozenge 4 times a day for 2 days was also shown to be helpful. Since various formulations exist, it's best to follow the instructions on the label. For bacterial sinus infections, 2 tablets of the multi-ingredient product Herbal Sinuprept was taken 3 times a day for up to 2 weeks. For lowering blood fat, 400 milligrams of elderberry powder or 5 milliliters of elderberry juice, which contains 10% anthocyanin content, taken 3 times a day for at least 2 weeks was shown to be effective. For gum inflammation, 15 milliliters of a multi-herbal rinse with elderberry, centella, and echinacea for 60 seconds twice a day for adults and children older than 12 is recommended. For young children, a 10 ml rinse twice a day is advised. Clinical studies support the traditional use of black elderberry for reducing flu and cold symptoms, other infections, and gum inflammation. It may also protect the heart and the skin, but more research is needed. Standardized extracts and cooked berries are safe for the general population. Children, pregnant women, and breastfeeding women should also avoid them, while others should consult their doctor before supplementing, especially if taking medication. The stems, the bark, the leaves, and the raw berries can all be toxic.